The Art Director's Debrief, number 10, The Terrible Secret of Athos. Hello, and welcome back to the Emotive Archive. We have explored the cunning schemes of Porthos and Aramis, witnessing how they funded their part in a covert war through seduction and secrecy. But one figure has remained an enigma: Athos, the noblest, the wisest, and the most melancholy of our heroes. In the chapters we declassify today, 27 and 28, the mask finally comes off. Through a drunken, feverish confession, we are granted access to the classified file of his past, a story so dark and tragic it reframes the entire narrative. This is not just a backstory, it is a ghost story, a Gothic tale of love, betrayal, and a terrible, indelible mark of evil that lies at the very heart of our adventure. The setting for this revelation is perfect. It is not a grand hall or a battlefield, but a dark, grimy cellar of an inn. The catalyst is not a noble conversation, but alcohol. Athos, having gambled away his horse and equipment, drinks himself into a state of profound despair. For a man defined by his stoic self-control, this drunken state is the only key that can unlock the iron vault of his memory. Drunkenness becomes a truth serum, allowing the past he has so violently repressed to finally spill forth. D'Artagnan, his young protégé, becomes his unwilling confessor, the audience for this private, ghosting performance. Athos tells his story in the third person, a classic literary device to create emotional distance. He speaks of a friend, a great and noble count who, at 25, fell in love with a beautiful, seemingly angelic young woman of 16. From an artistic perspective, this is a fairy tale. A powerful nobleman living on a magnificent estate in the Berry province falls for a girl of mysterious origin but breathtaking beauty. It is a story of pure, idyllic romance. He gives her his name, his fortune, his title. He elevates her from obscurity to the highest ranks of society. This is the first act of the tragedy, the perfect, beautiful illusion. The second act is the shattering of that illusion, the discovery of the horror beneath the beautiful facade. The moment of revelation is a masterstroke of Gothic drama. During a hunt, the young countess faints and falls from her horse. The count, her loving husband, rushes to her side, cutting open her dress to help her breathe. And in that moment, he discovers it. The Fleur-de-lis, branded on her shoulder. This is not just a tattoo. It is the indelible, infamous mark of a condemned criminal in 17th century France, a sign of the lowest, most debased class of society. The woman he believed to be an angel is, in the eyes of the law and his own aristocratic code, a demon in disguise. The beautiful portrait he had fallen in love with is revealed to be a masterful forgery. The Count's reaction is swift, brutal, and absolute. Dumas tells us that the Count, in his own lands, was a feudal lord with the power of high and low justice. He does not take her to a court. He becomes the court. He is the judge, jury, and executioner. He convenes a secret tribunal, tries his own wife, finds her guilty, and, as Athos chillingly recounts, hanged her on a tree. This is a moment of pure, feudal, Gothic horror. The man of profound honor commits an act of terrible, private justice, a summary execution born from a sense of absolute betrayal. The fairy tale has ended in a hanging. This is the secret that has haunted Athos for years, the source of his melancholy, the reason he abandoned his title and his past to become a simple musketeer. He is a man who loved a demon, and in his attempt to excise that demon, he became a killer himself. The chapter concludes with D'Artagnan's dawning, sickening realization. He connects the details, the beautiful blonde, the branded criminal, to the one person he knows who fits that description: the cardinal's deadly agent, Milady de Winter. The personal and the political have just collided with the force of a thunderclap. The war against the cardinal is no longer just a matter of duty to the king. For Athos, and now for D'Artagnan, it is a deeply personal vendetta against a woman who is, quite literally, a ghost from a past that was supposed to be dead and buried.
Now that we have analyzed this chilling confession, let us elevate our analysis. The story of Athos and his wife is more than just a tragic backstory. It is a self-contained Gothic novel embedded within a swashbuckling adventure. It injects a new, far darker genre into the narrative, enriching the entire work and raising the stakes from political intrigue to a battle with a seemingly supernatural evil. Let us first analyze the character of the young Milady, or Anne de Breuil, as we later learn is one of her names. Athos describes her as an angel, a young girl of 16, beautiful as love. This is a classic Gothic trope, the beautiful, pure facade that hides a corrupt and monstrous interior. She is a perfect representation of the uncanny, a concept later defined by Freud, something that is familiar yet strangely unsettling. Her beauty is not a sign of her goodness, but a tool of her deception. The Fleur-de-lis is the ultimate symbol of this duality. It is a beautiful flower, the very symbol of French royalty and purity. But when branded on flesh, it becomes a mark of absolute shame and criminality. Milady's entire being is a contradiction, a beautiful flower rooted in the poison of a dark past. She is a fallen angel, a Lilith figure, whose angelic beauty is the very instrument of her demonic will. Athos's reaction to her deception is a study in the brutal code of 17th century aristocratic honor. His decision to hang his own wife seems monstrous to a modern reader. But in his world, his actions are, in a twisted way, logical. He is not just a husband, he is the Comte de la Fère, a high nobleman, the embodiment of his lineage. His wife's criminal past is not just a personal betrayal, it is a stain on his name, her honor, and her entire family history. By marrying down in secret, he committed a social transgression. By discovering she is a branded criminal, she realizes this transgression is far worse than he imagined. His execution of her is a terrifying act of purification, an attempt to surgically remove the tainted limb from his noble house. It is the act of a man whose identity is so completely tied to the concept of honor that he is willing to become a murderer to preserve it. This is the source of his tragedy. To save his honor, he had to destroy his heart. He is now a man living in a self-imposed exile, his melancholy the price he pays for his terrible feudal justice. This revelation completely reframes the character of Athos. We now understand that his stoicism is not just a personality trait. It is a necessary defense mechanism to contain an ocean of grief and guilt. His wisdom is not just from age, it is the bitter wisdom born from a catastrophic, life-altering mistake. And his loyalty to his friends is not just camaraderie. It is the desperate attempt to build a new, honorable family to replace the one he destroyed. He is a tragic hero in the truest sense, a great man brought low by a single fatal error in judgment. He is a ghost haunting his own life. Most importantly, this revelation transforms the nature of the entire novel. The conflict is no longer a simple political struggle between the king's faction and the cardinals. It is now a deeply personal vendetta. Milady is not just an enemy agent, she is the living embodiment of Athos's greatest failure and deepest trauma. Her continued existence is an affront to his entire being. The fight against her is not just a mission, it is an exorcism.
For D'Artagnan, the stakes are equally personal. He is now caught between his loyalty to his mentor, Athos, and his own complicated, dangerous entanglement with Milady. He is the keeper of a secret that could destroy the man he respects most in the world. This Gothic backstory elevates Milady from a simple villain to a near supernatural force of evil. She has, in essence, returned from the dead. The fact that she survived a hanging gives her an aura of invincibility, of being something more than human. She becomes the novel's monster, a beautiful, intelligent, and seemingly unstoppable force of destruction. The final acts of the novel are no longer just a spy thriller. They become a monster hunt. The four heroes must unite to destroy this demon from their past before she destroys them all. The personal and the political are now fused, creating a narrative of immense power and emotional depth. The adventure story has become a tragedy, and the stakes are no longer just about diamonds and queens, but about life, death, and the possibility of redemption. Thank you for joining me in the Emotive Archive.